Hi, welcome back to Compton Shenanigans. Today we're going to be working on the locked up motor. Should be a good one. Let me show you what we got going on. Make it work! Sure. Put it in here. It's just wrapped it. So here she is in all of her glory. Well, this thing's been locked up and sitting out here for a while. It's finally time to actually do something with it. Well, let's see if we can't get it unlocked and get it running. Because, you know, I like a challenge. Alright. It's kind of stuck in the ground. No spark plugs, so that means it's full of something. There. Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's kind of dirty. Pretty sure that looks good. We got a plate, dirt, spark plug. Exhaust looks good. We're gonna need that. Carburetor is it's a little sticky. Probably could use a spring. I don't think we're gonna be using this one anyway. The tube's gone. So yeah. Alright, we'll probably pull the carb off. Replace it with one and a gas tank to work, but until then, we're gonna use this for we're just gonna kind of feed it fuel until we get the crank over. We're probably gonna be throwing a bunch of dirt if we ever do get this. Notice some water down here. It's coming out of oh, it's coming out of there. Alright. That kind of looks like it's stuck in the up position. That would be the intake side. That's right there's the carburetor. So the intake side is stuck open, which means we got moisture and water probably everywhere inside the cylinder. So yeah, we're just gonna drain everything out, clean it off a little bit, and I'll probably soak it. Try to free it up. Alright, here we go. Alright. Well, we're pretty sure it's full of water. I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil first. Try to get all the water out. Oh, if there is some. Gotta get a wrench. Lock the toolbox. We might have one up here. Yeah, that'll work. Hammer. I use 10 millimeter and break that loose. I think my hammer's in the toolbox too. Oh, no. Alright, back to it. A bunch of dirt. Might need to clamp it down a little bit. Yeah, keep it from moving so much. Ooh. Got it. Alright, let's see how much oil and water comes out of this thing. You ready? Ah! Missing the thing. Well, that can't be helpful. Looks like they put Loctite on these. See that? There's like some orange. It might just be rust. But it looks like Loctite. Alright, well, if it had any oil in it, it had very little. Mostly water. That's going to help. Alright, now that we got most of the water out, I got a mess. Always a mess. So this is what she had in her. It's mostly water and some oil. That's the 0W0 weight oil. So probably hard to run with pretty much no oil. The rest of it's probably gummed up in there somewhere. Normally I wouldn't want to crack some cover off, look inside and see what's going on, which is this thing. But we're gonna we're going to do the right thing. We're going to throw some oil in it. Probably some used oil. Yeah. Throw some used oil in it. And then we're going to kind of soak it from the top here. See that hole? And soak those up a little bit. I think we'll use some PB Blaster, some WD-40s, some grease. And we'll just kind of soak it today. And then we won't bother turning it yet, because with all that water and rust, and I mean everything's probably seized up pretty good. We'll just throw some oil in it, shake it up a whole lot. Then we might try to warm it up a little bit with some heat and kind of get some things moving on the inside chemically. See if we can't break this free, get it running. All right. I'll pour this water out. Oh, then we'll start lubricating. All right. I think we're gonna we know it's not going to leak because it held all that water. Gaskets are good. We got some creatures, some dirt, some mud packed in the thing. That side looks pretty good. Just needs cleaned up a little. Well, we got no oil in it right now, no fluids. Let's add some fluids. We didn't turn this over to see if there's anything on the top of the piston yet. Alright, she seems dry. Alright, I'll grab some used oil. Alright, so I got some used oil. This has got dirt, slime, sludge, perhaps some gasoline, solvents, things like that. That's going to help break this open, free it up. We're going to put some in here. And kind of overfill it a little bit. Bring it back. Kind of overfill it, make sure it's got some oil in it. There you go. Use oil going in. Got to be liking that. We're just going to kind of go until it comes out the top. Let's see how much we got in there. dripping all over everything. Just don't mind me. Oh. Alright, now since you've got some used oil in her, that's going to help lubricate the bottom. Now we're going to address middle lubrication. So we're going to tip her upside down, and we're going to try to get as much of that oil into all the parts that it wouldn't normally pump because it's not going to spin. It'd be nice to see some oil come out of this top, being that the valve's stuck open. We should see some oil coming out the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put a paper towel down, hopefully catch some of it. Alright. I'm blocking the camera. Alright. Can you see now? Alright. So lay it on its side. Let's see, that's the crank side. So now the oil that we just put in is about here. Now it's sitting right about here. And it's lubricating parts of the crank. It's kind of getting in where, you know, couldn't get unless it spun. And we don't have enough oil in it where we're going to see any come out of this yet. Now that's soaked up a little bit. I'm going to turn on the side over here. Some side. And kind of let the oil soak into this side of things. This is where the cam and the crank meet. We're just going to kind of let that oil soak in a little bit. I know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking. It's old oil. Oh, she sure is locked up. Alright, now that that's soaked up for a minute, we're going to turn her upside down. I'll let some of that oil drain into other parts. See how we got a little bit of oil here. Found its way out. We didn't get any out of the top though. So that tells me that, you know, if we close that off, we'll probably be able to get some oil come out of the top. I'll let that soak in for a sec. If I set her down, she's gonna leak even more. See if I don't have any screws, put that back on those. In the meantime, don't get it. I've robbed from enough engines that this is another one that just doesn't have what it should have. So, give me a minute. I'll find some. Or not. That's fine. We'll just hold it there and pretend like it's screwed on. Let her lubricate the outside. Alright, now we're gonna soak some stuff into the top, into the carburetor, so it gets to the top of the valves, the bottom of the valves, whatever, through this passage. We're not gonna go in through here, we'll just put it in here and here. Oh, my bag outside with all the stuff in it. Alright, so got plenty of the PB blaster in here right now, so we'll just go ahead and kind of put some in the top, some in the carb. Carb doesn't even have a fuel pump on it, so I don't know. And we're going to grab our oh, we ain't really got nothing but PB blaster in here anyway. Brake clean, brake clean, brake clean, PB blaster. That's what we're using now anyway. Alright, we're going to throw in some of this gel lube into the top. We're going to put a little more blaster in there. Secret to unlocking an engine. A little bit of Captain Morgan. Not a whole lot. You don't want her drunk. There you go. This will help her loose the seat. She's already peeing. That's as fast as that goes. Well, that means we're full. See? Captain Morgan. Now that we're all lubricated up, now we can give her a shot. See if we can't break her free. Now that she's a little drunk, she might lean over for us. So we'll put a clamp on this to make sure it can't move. And then we'll give it a couple taps with the rubber hammer. See if we can't persuade her to get loose. Now that she's got some Captain Morgan in her, she'll probably break right free. Give this some taps. Give this some taps. And we'll see if we can't get her to start turning. Real gentle. We don't want to strip anything out. We don't want to break these teeth off. Oop. See that? She broke free. It was that Captain Morgan that did it. I'm telling you. She's free. And she's moving real easy too. Didn't take a whole lot, so I don't suppose anything's broke on the inside. Oh, I'm actually having a little trouble right there. Must be a ridge where the rings are. Just kind of get past that. Oh yeah, she's real tough right there. Not wanting to go. So go back the other way. Now we'll go back the other way. I want to see a full rotation. Right now we're, oh, I think we got it. I think we got past it. Yeah, we did. Well, we got it. We didn't even have to let that soak overnight. As soon as we poured that Captain Morgan in, man, things just freed right up. I'm telling you, it works every time. See, Captain Morgan's got alcohol in it. Now, alcohol is a solvent. Along with all the other lubes you put in, it penetrates the tube. Don't let them tell you any different. I mean, you can see, we couldn't turn it. It was full of water. It sat outside for years. Just soaking up that water, rusting on the inside. Within a couple minutes, and some Captain Morgan, it freed right up. So right now, all I'm doing is kind of working that oil in to all the little spots that it wasn't, so that we're lubed up. Now, we are going to need some things to get this thing started. We're going to need a gas tank. We're going to need a coil. We're going to need whatever this is. Bolt it back up. And a spark plug. And a fresh new oil change. Still got a tough spot in there. Well, now since she's freed up, we're going to spend some money on her. Alright. Check the condition of those valves. Now we're still stuck. See that? There's a space between it. That spring, you know, it's not unspringing. So we'll give it some lube. And clean it off. That valve might be stuck too. The good news is it's right there in the top. We'll give it a couple taps. See if we can't free it up. Yeah, it's not happening. I don't want to be too forceful with it, but I think the spring's in good shape. We'll have a look and see what's happening when we turn it. Got our lifter coming up. Got our exhaust side lifter coming up. That lifter kind of stays up. That doesn't have a spring on it. Push it back down. I'll go ahead and throw a little bit more gel lube in that valve area. See if we can't free that valve up. With some PV blaster. What do you say? We give her another shot of Captain Morgan? All right. There we go. A little bit. We don't want her too drunk to run. I'll give this some rotations and I'll give her a couple taps. You want to be gentle. You don't want to bend that valve. I think we're moving. Meh, probably not. Tell you what. You guys keep an eye on it. Let's see. Lighting. How well can you guys see that? You see it pretty good? Looks like you can. Alright. We'll give it a couple taps. You guys keep an eye on it. See if it's moving. I don't think she's going to go. Is it moving at all? Well, looks like we're going to have to let the top end soak just a little bit more. So, we'll put in some used motor oil in the top. A little more of the gel lube. But we won't spin it. We don't want it to leave the top. Make sure our valves are closed. There. We're going to pour some used oil in the top. It can work its magic. Oh yeah, forgot. Man, right, unless we're making a mess. Being that that valve is stuck open, anything that passes through the valve that is stuck open is going to leak out of the carburetor. And because we don't have a fuel pump to stop it from leaking, it just goes all over the floor. This is probably a pretty messy video at this point. Yeah. I'll grab some old paper towels and kind of stuff that closed. If it leaks a little, who cares? There we go. Set her back down. Alright, well, pretty happy that we were able to free up the crank, and it looks like everything on the inside is probably fine. So, you get that valve unstuck, and well, we should be able to see if it fires up. It'll be the first time it's ran since who knows when. It's been outside collecting water for at least 3 years now, as you saw. So we're going to leave this on a bunch of paper towels, and we're going to leave it soak. Probably overnight or over the weekend. Now that it's got lubrication and it can turn. Doesn't feel like there's any play in the crank. It all feels pretty solid in there still, so I think we'll have a runner. I do. So I'm gonna let this soak for the weekend, and then I will get back with you guys probably here in a couple days, and we'll see if we can't rob some parts off some other engines to get this thing at least turned over and as long as it starts, as long as it runs, got fresh oil in it, you know, we'll deal with buying parts for it once we know it can fire up and run. So in the meantime, everybody, ooh, yeah. Everybody just relax. We're getting there. I'm gonna set this on the floor, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. I'll see if we can't get this thing freed up. If not, we'll have to pull the valve out, figure out how to get it out, clean it up, get it back in. That won't take a whole lot of time, but we'll probably end up destroying this gasket by doing it. I only got some used, tore up gaskets in the meantime. That probably won't seal for nothing, so I mean, maybe I got some Insta gasket I can add to this to help seal the head up. We'll see. I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. Try to keep it from swaying on this weird mount. Anyway, just got all the bolts out. Some of them were really corroded. That one was probably the worst one. It was hard. Vice grips, man. Barely. Alright, so before we open this head up and work on this valve that's stuck, not so much before, but that's what we're going to do now. I got you guys in on the valve cover, or whatever this is, before I break it open. So you guys get to see it first. I have not opened this. It is still solid. Here we go. See if we can get that valve unstuck. Then we can see if we can't fire this thing up. There we go. Ooh, got it. Try not to rip that gasket. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, she sat outside for a while. I clean all that up. Yeah, there's a lot of dirt fell into there. Overall, it must have some compression that's holding oil and whatever else we put in there. So, I'll turn this and try to get these valves cleaned out. This one here is the stuck one. This one's not. You can see it goes down and it seals pretty good. I'll let some of that get in these holes. Use motor oil and Captain Morgan, WD-45 and Blaster Master and whatever. off. She don't look too bad. Yeah, let's make sure we're not pushing up on the valve. There's up. And back down. The lifter's actually moving. So give it a couple whacks. She is stuck. Yeah, she don't want to go nowhere. So what we're going to do, get our vice grips on this valve and try to twist it a little bit. I get some PV blaster down there. Leaking through. It might be. Get some blaster in there. We're going to get our vice grips. We're going to try to give it a small turn. See if we can't free it up a little bit. Just some gentle persuasion. We don't want to distort the valve. See, it's not tight. Wiggles a little bit. So we'll give it a couple smacks with a hammer, see if we can't get it to turn on its own. Alright, it's not letting it go. We'll go a little tighter. If it'll twist, it'll move up and down. Don't put too much pressure on it because the damn thing won't seal. I think that's the least of our worries, but yeah, we're stuck with stuck. Got something to pry under it. See if we can't work it up towards you guys. We got our screwdriver on it. Let's give it a couple whacks up. Just trying to get that blaster to get in there and free this up. There's no point in... See, a good valve, I'll twist a little bit. It'll turn, you know. This is kind of seized up in its spot and it won't. Oh, I think I might have got it. Maybe. Well, it did move a little bit. Yeah, yep. Did move a little bit. Both ways. So, put some more blaster in there. And we'll give it some more wiggles. Well, we are getting it to turn just a little bit. We might get this freed up after all. Yeah, there we go. It's turning. And if it's turning, then it'll probably be unstuck. Can you see that? It's moving. It shouldn't be real easy to move because, I mean, it does have a spring tension on it, but it's moving. Put just a little more blaster in it. Get it to turn a couple more times. We might be able to free this valve up. Alright. I think we're working ourselves down. Getting harder to grip it. Not quite moving as freely as I'd like, but it is moving. It means that blaster is getting in there. Right now it's not up. We'll go ahead and get it where it's up. And we'll try to get it settled down. Alright, there's a new spot. And a new spot. Alright, so we're unstuck a little bit, and we're not, the whole thing's not twisting off yet. We'll give it a couple taps. Still not free yet. I've got it to go down. Got it to go up. That's a start. Throw in some gel lube. See if we can't work this up and down enough to free it up. Not quite enough to go up and down, but it's moving. It's not really got any resistance on the way up. Still not turning a whole lot. Yeah, it's almost nothing to bring it back up and then it gets stuck. So we're going to bring it up all the way. Put a little more blaster. A little more gel lube. I'm going to give it some twists. See if we can't. Oh, that's loose. It's nice. Oh yeah. Just got to get the thing to come back down. Yeah, I can turn it by hand. With a little paper towel. But yeah, and turn it by hand. Alright, we'll drop it. That seat don't even look that bad. And treat the other one while we're here. I wanted to go down. I'll put some gel lube in there so we're not running it without anything. It's wanting to move. Put a little bit of pressure on it. with a small tap. Let's see if we can't turn it while it's down there. See if we can't free that up. See how it responds to that. Still not wanting to drop. Got a little more travel. Almost there. A little more gel lid. One more blaster. And work this out for a little bit. You guys see that? It's moving up and down. It's not all the way. I'll check back in with you guys. I'm going to get this put back together. We're going to throw some odds and ends on this to get it to turn over. And then we'll see if this old thing will fire up after being full of water for a couple of years. Check back with you in a minute. Hey, how you doing? Since you've been gone, I cleaned this up, put it back together. Got the valve unstuck. It's moving pretty good, sealing good. You know, just twist and work it. It'll get there. And then wash it off with the hose. Got most of the mud off. Got a gas tank and carburetor hooked up. Got a coil put on it. And if we rotate it, we can see so, coil's good, and we'll have spark when we need it. Not entirely sure where my spark plugs are for these motors. I'll probably have to borrow one. But it's getting late, and the mosquitoes are terrible out here. So tomorrow morning, when we get out here, we're going to run a compression test. And we're also going to run a compression test. We're going to film the other video for the Patreons, the orange one, tomorrow morning. Get that done. Get that motor started. Get this motor started. And then it's race time. One motor versus another. And we'll get to it. So tomorrow. See you in a minute. Alright. We saw that it had spark. So now let's see if it has compression. With the way that valve was sticking, I was getting it to blow. It was sucking air in, but it was also blowing air out. So I don't think that valve is sealing yet. This will let us know whether or not it is sealing or not. So we know to move forward with either pulling this off and doing some more work to that valve and valve seat, or if we can just throw some gas in and see if it starts. If this doesn't read anything past like 30, if it doesn't read anything at all, then, you know, it's valve time. So we got our drill. We're not going to start. We don't have the spark plug hooked up. So we'll give it some good turns. And we'll see if we get to start it up or not. Alright, well, we got almost 30. So, it's about half of what I'd like to see. In comparison, the one that we actually had started up and running, I'll throw the compression test on that one, and we'll spin it up, and we'll compare it to this one. So keep that one in mind right there. And then we'll, alright, so this is the one that we robbed the parts from. And it was running the last time we ran it. So we'll see what our compression is on this one. We'll get these paper towels out of here so it can breathe. Ooh, almost dropped it. It's a little tough. Now see, in comparison, we got like 50 out of this one. And this actually starts and runs. So, looks like we're going to be doing a little bit of valve work. So the next thing we're going to have to do to this, being that it's got really low compression, I don't know if it's the rings or if it's that bad valve. My money's on the bad valve though. So we're going to pull this back off. We're going to pull this back off. We're going to get the valve spring out because I don't think it's, you'll see it when it comes out. And we'll do a little bit of work to this valve. We'll see if we can't get enough compression to start. we can see here that the valve seat is not really in that bad a condition. A little bit of valve grinding compound and that'll come right around. That still looks really good. Valve, on the other hand, yeah, there's no line on it at all. It's rough, it's textured, it's kind of gummy, crusty. Yeah, so with that kind of valve in here, I mean, I would expect probably 0. I'm surprised we had any compression at all, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work this clean and get a new line scored in with the valve seat and get it put back together and see what our compression is. Alright, so we got the whole thing put back together. We did the best we could with that valve. Still has some spots. We just got done cranking it and it was sitting at 30. This drill, oh, it just does not like cranking these motors, but it'll do it. So anyway, so we're looking for at least 30 before we try to start it. So we'll see what we get. And that's about 30. Alright, so it's still not perfect. But it might come around. So I think, you know, after we get the motor warmed up and everything kind of reseals, I think it'll come around and build a little bit of compression on its own. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is throw the gas tank back on, throw some fuel, throw a spark plug in it, clamp it down, and we'll see if this thing will fire after being locked up outside full of water for a couple years. Oh, and once we get it warmed up, we're going to give it an oil change. And we're going to run it again. And once it's good to go, well, I guess we'll see. Now, we got some compression. Our drill is smoking, so I don't think it's going to survive. I think I'm going to have to step back into the Craftsman and burn another one of those up. But this is technically ready to start. So I'm going to pour a little bit of gas in here. I don't want it to run very long. Got a kill wire, but again, I don't want it to run very long. Just long enough to see if it'll fire. A little bit of gas. And the carb. That'll kind of prime it. I'll throw some starter fluid in if we have to. We just want it to crank over. If the drill survives, I don't think it's going to. Now, before we get started doing this, let's get the nut kilodrill contraption put together. Since we do not want to just destroy another drill just because. Alright. Now we'll get our socket in there. This is kind of a anti-kickback starting these with drills. At least I hope it is. You know how when you got an idea and it's like, well, that might be cool. Yeah, well, this is the... Oh, I guess we'll see. Alright. First fire. Alright. See how we're spinning? We're not. We'll tighten that down a little bit more. Ooh, we got a leak. We got a leak in that gasket we put in. So it's shooting out the front here. So we have a not super so terrible gasket we can throw in there. To kind of replace that beat up one. But we're not going to get, you know, the compression with a leaky gasket. We're not going to get hardly anything done with a leaky gasket. It looks like it's coming out. Here, I'll show you guys. Now you can see there's some moisture coming through right there. And there's moisture coming through right there. And probably all the way around. So, yeah. Maybe. So anyway, it's getting the compression it needs to turn over, but man, that gasket's shot. So I will throw that almost scrap one in, and now we'll see if it fires up. Seems like it wants to. Stay tuned. All right. We're going to try this internet magic here. Get that in there. And boom. It's in. Alright, full transparency. I know that more than likely this part of the gasket has a coating on it when it comes new, which is what's left right here. And I'm well aware the one that I threw in there didn't have a coating anymore. So I did what anybody would do. RTV sealant. I just reestablished the coating. Let it sit for a couple minutes. And tightened her down, torqued her down. So now she got some compression protection, I guess. I also have my new, not sponsored, my new gasoline, a little bit of oil mixed in to help this thing with it starting. And we are gonna let that sit for a couple more minutes, probably before we even start to crank it, and then we will get set up and start cranking it. So in the meantime, I don't know, I'll take a break. And you guys, I mean, it'll happen instantly for you, so yay! But anyway, yeah, see you in a minute. Alright, so I forget to turn the camera on sometimes, but we did get it to fire and start and turn over, and then it ran out of gas. So we're going to do that live for you now. So you can see that it is running, it is firing. Put a little bit in there. If this is a success, if my drill doesn't burn up, and here we go. Something's loose. I don't know what's going on. You know, everything works great, you know, till the camera turns on. Now it's acting like it ain't the right size socket. Oh my goodness. Alright, hold on. It was the wrong size. I got a 15/16 here. This may or may not work. But it runs. And just to prove it. There you go. I'm going to give it an oil change. I'm going to set it out on the shelf with the regular motors that work, and we will put this on a cart and we'll see what its performance is. But that's it for this video. We can see that it runs, and it's full of water, and now it's full of used oil, and it runs. It's been quite a journey. For you guys, it's been pretty much like, I don't know, 40 minutes or so. For me, it's been like 3 weeks. So, wrapping up this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you made it to the end right here, give it a thumbs up. Really happy with it actually turning over and starting after being outside for a couple years. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And until next time. Peace.